Welcome to Project Metis. Project Metis will focus on the speculative evolution of three habitable moons of the gas giant Metis. The gas giant and its collection of moons orbit Zeus 135 within the habitable zone. Named after the first wife of Zeus, Metis is a protector of three unique life-sustaining worlds, Athena, Nike, and Eric, short for Erichthonius. The moon Erichthonius has native life that has evolved to live in the subterranean environments due to a lack of a suitable atmosphere to sustain life. Eric was once a cold, solitary planet, but as Eric now orbits Metis, the internal layers and activity of the planet have been renewed by the gravity of the gas giant. Volcanic activity slowly aids in the development of an atmosphere, causing the global temperatures to rise and allow for liquid water to exist again on the surface. This period of the reawakening of Eric is known as the Age of Anastasi. This time of resurrection is characterized by the growing volcanic activity of Eric, the reemergence of the electromagnetic field, and the formation of a more hospitable atmosphere. Though there is life deep within Eric itself, the surface will first be conquered by children of Athena through the process of panspermia. Panspermia describes the phenomena of life originating from microbial organisms present in outer space, or from another world, and able to initiate further radiation on reaching a suitable environment. This event of panspermia is seen on Eric at least 65.5 million years ago. Around this time millions of years ago, life from Athena was transported to Eric. This transplanting of life most likely occurred as a result of meteorite collisions on Athena that ejected rock, ice, water and other debris into space. Due to their proximity to one another, and the known ability of Athenian life to endure the conditions of the upper atmosphere, it is not difficult to imagine life moving from Athena to Eric. Currently, the only known species to have invaded Eric thus far are the yellow Characterized. These organisms of the peripetioid add yellow to the surface of Eric. Starting only around the bodies of water in the cold polar regions and slowly expanding further, the Characterized are given the opportunity to invade the barren landscape and aid in the transformation of the planet. The Characterized increase the oxygen levels in the atmosphere and provide a source of energy for the organisms of Eric. As they are the first organisms to significantly populate the surface, the Characterized are given the opportunity to evolve into forms adapted for a rocky, terrestrial world away from the waterlogged ocean planet of Athena. The development of a more hospitable atmosphere allowed for the Asprodrakos to emerge from the shadows of the underworld. From the polar regions to the temperate valleys, the waterways of Eric were filled with these amphibious creatures. Although the forerunners of Eric's surface were the creatures of the Chalcopydi clade, and the first explorers of the waterways of Eric were the Calympi during the late Anastasi, it will be the Asprodrakos that will dominate the Anastasi. The Asprodrakos adapted to roam further away from the caves and waters of Eric by developing eggs with harder encasement. Eggs are able to be had further from the water, away from aquatic predators. The Asprodrakos also evolved to have tougher scale-like skin, allowing these creatures to survive far away from bodies of water. The three families of Asprodrakos are the Mcrus, the Prasinus, and the Megalostric. These creatures all initially share the ability to respirate in both water and air. These children of Eric share a special sac-like organ within their bodies that house various types of microorganisms that live within the creatures to allow for symbiotic relationships to form. These three groups of Asprodrakos will develop separate species and unique adaptations. These dragons will establish themselves as the dominant organisms of Eric during the period known as the Phocea. In the Age of Anastasi, the surface of Eric began to see the reign of the Megalostris. This group had the advantage during the Anastasia of having greater water retention in their body structures and stronger eggs over their cousins of the underground. These advantages allowed for this group to become the first to leave the deep caves. The Megalostric divide into two distinct groups during the early Anastasi: the rock-eating Characterized and the burrowing Asprodrakos. The Characterized inherit the symbiotic relationship between themselves and species of endolith, rock-digesting microbes that live within specialized sacs within their digestive system. A notable species of Characterized to emerge in the early Anastasies are the Trogon. The Trogon are considered a proto-species in the Megalostris. These rock-eating animals developed scales to seal water into their bodies, along with a structure better suited for preying upon the various land chalicopody insect-like creatures. The trogon also demonstrate the signature horn structures of this group. From the trogon, we first see the phrynis. The phrynis emphasize their round, wide body shape to allow for a greater volume of rocks and endomo to fit into their digestive system along the scarce waterways through the Age of Anastasi with an insatiable appetite. The phrynis continue to rely on water for their eggs to develop, and so they radiate primarily in the newly formed bodies of water across Eric. The horns of these creatures are used for sexual displays during their breeding rituals. These animals are also seen to have signs of sexual dimorphism, though both males and females have horns. The Carido. The Carido species are evolved directly from the phrynis. These beasts obtain thicker, stronger scales than that of the phrynis and are able to venture from the water to be permanently land-bound. Further, these beasts adopt a pack-like social structure. The early members of this distinction mirror the bulky, wide body structure of their ancestors, but they develop stronger, more slender bodies with stronger skeletons to support larger sizes as the Age of Anastasi unfolds. Some of these creatures also develop further predatory adaptations such as claws and sharper teeth. However, all members of this group maintain the horn structures on their heads, and are able to utilize digested stones to strengthen and maintain their elaborate head decor. Meanwhile, the other side of the Megalostric family are the Caladrius. These species adapt to a burrowing lifestyle. After learning to bury eggs into hidden nests in the ground, this group evolves to spend their lives seeking the roots, tubers, and nests of endomo underground away from the reach of predators. The Adapho. The Adapho have feet designed for digging. Starting in the early Anastasi, the burrows of the Adapho help them to avoid predators, shelters them from weather events, and the underground tunnels help to protect young. Later members of this groups will learn to use communal living behaviors that help them to build colonies of Adapho. The tunnel architecture and the social structures of the Adapho help this group to radiate throughout Eric. The Panoplia. The Panoplia are another burrowing group of Microstricus. These organisms develop thicker, specialized scales on their backs and abdomens to aid in protection from predators. This group is also seen to exhibit a tolerance for the venom of their Prasinodricus cousins. This resilience to predation helps the Panoplia to radiate across the expanses of Eric. Over the course of the Age of Anastasi, these scaly creatures will obtain larger sizes as they master their metabolic processes to match the evolutionary path of the flora of Eric. By the very end of the Age of Anastasi, these creatures will reach sizes once unimaginable looking at their small amphibious beginnings. The Prasinodricus. The Prasinodricus emerged out of the underworld with their symbiotic relationship with their poisonous, toxic bacteria and their ancestral habit of floral camouflage. Their membrane structures enhance at the beginning of the Anastasi to store toxic microbes, making them undesirable to prey upon. The Deletrio. The Deletrio are the major predatory group of the Prasinodricus. These predators first emerged from the cave seeking their Mcrus cousins, as well as after the Calympi species also radiating at this time. The Deletrio enhanced the potency of their bite and toxic mucus, gaining a purple mouth as a side effect. As the animals grew to become independent from the water, they continued to adapt their scale-like skin. Sharper teeth and sharper claws make this group of species a formidable predator during the Middle Anastasi. The Pisigracidae. The Pisigracidae are the first of the Asprodrakos to form a relationship with the invasive Athenian flora. These creatures are characterized by the cavities in their skin around their back region that are used as anchor points for photosynthetic organisms. The plant life on the back of the Pisigracidae aid in the attraction of prey for the animal, aiding in camouflage, and acts as a means of temperature regulation and water conservation. Some species will be herbivorous and eat the plants that grow from their bodies. The Pisigracidae obtains a portion of the energy produced by the passenger plant life and helps the flora to spread through spore distribution. These organisms fare well on the surface of Eric, and by the end of the Anastasi, these creatures develop a method of communal life that aids in their expansion over the vastly arid landscapes of Eric. The Paraskenia. The Paraskenia are the most unique of the Prasinodricus. These small creatures share the specialized microbe sac organ of their ancestors, but these creatures develop to have empty microbe storage sacs inside their bodies. Unlike their cousins who use their sac organs for venom or spores containment, These creatures use these organs as storage for the excess gas that is emitted as a byproduct of the microbes within their digestive tract that assist in the digestion of entomo. The air sacs within the Paraskenia help these creatures in jumping amongst the taller species of Athenian flora that have evolved to Eric by the middle of the Age of Anastasi. The history and evolution of flight in Eric is mysterious as two methods of air travel evolve within this age. It is currently believed based on the Paraskenia proto-species that the head filaments once used by their ancestors evolved to act as gliding wings to help with jumping amongst the tall flora. The pterygopizo. This group continued to develop the gliding wings between the front and rear legs. These creatures will eventually develop wing structures on their shoulders as another set of appendages to enhance their aerial agility. Eating flying entomo between the tall flora, and preying on the high treetop nests and hives gives these organisms a unique niche to dominate. The Bratzoptero. The Bratzoptero are another group in the Paraskenia to evolve flight. Instead of evolving additional limbs, the Bratzoptero adapt to have wide, thin membranes on their front limbs to create wings. It is thought that the gliding wings of the Paraskenia have evolved further up the body of its descendants. These creatures mirror the flight mechanics to that of earth birds rather than simple gliders. These creatures also feature bones lighter than their pterygopizo counterparts, having more space within their bodies for air sacs and air pockets to occupy to decrease their weight. The Bratzoptero evolve in the later part as the Age of Anastasi and offer competition to their other flying cousins for dominance of the skies. The Megalostricus. The Megalostricus were the largest of the three divisions of the Asprodrakos during the Anastasi. Members of this class will develop a wide variety of strategies to conquer the new Eric as they take advantage of their advanced respiratory systems for both the water and land. This group is also accustomed to nocturnal behaviors due to their photosensitivity during the early Anastasi. The group divides first between the Dirigio and the Astrotragon. The Dirigio are the members of the Megalostricus to have wide, often web-like feet that are adapted to aquatic environments. The first significant members of this class are the Edico. These beasts show the development of shifting limbs. These creatures have four-leg limbs that are close together proportionally to its body. These Edico show long, slender body structure that would suggest a transition between water and land dwelling. The Edico are known to have dug burrows to lay eggs while spending a late part of their lifespan hunting and traveling within the waters of Eric. However, these creatures of the early Anastasi were outcompeted by their descendants. The Lindworm. The Lindworm are unique on Eric as they are a part of the line of the Asprodrakos to have only one set of front limbs. These arms are used to help dig burrows, dig into entomo mounds and to hold prey. These general opportunists took advantage of their well-rounded diet through the middle to late Anastasi to find a foothold in many regions of Eric. The Nero Lindworm. The Nero Lindworm is a lineage. This is often contested as some believe these beasts are directly connected to the Edico in their evolution, while some believe these aquatic animals evolved as direct descendants of the Lindworm group. Sharing the two-limb body structure of their land-bound kin, the Nero lindworms spawn and reproduce entirely in the water, unlike their land cousins who have solid, encased egg shells. Feeding from the aquatic plants or animals of the waterways of Eric, these Nero lindworms will see species that evolve to become almost fish-like in appearance. The Philididus. The Philididus are the first of the bone-eating Megalostricus. These organisms evolve a method of digesting bone as a part of their diet, making them well-adapted predators to exploit the most nutrients from prey items. The specialized diet of bones will also help this group to control the scavenger niche in many regions across Eric during the Age of Anastasi. The Crocodrocus. The Crocodrocus are a semi-aquatic predator group of Megalostricus that specialize in ambush attacks from the waterways. These creatures abandon aquatic respiration to advance their aerial respiration to aid in their land attacks. The improvement in respiration also increases the sizes of these creatures to overpower their prey of anything they can attack. The group will continue to develop through the Anastasi to have longer limbs for traveling farther distances over land, and they will be amongst the first of the Asprodrakos to develop vocal communication through calls and various sounds to aid in their communal lifestyle. The Droskelia. The Droskelia can be distinguished by their strong jaw structures specifically designed to crush and chew bones. Beginning as small, burrowing creatures that have been removed from the aquatic lifestyle, these creatures have become specialized in scavenging prey across Eric. Developing the best sense of smell amongst any other creatures of Eric, These creatures have their fill of leftovers throughout the Anastasi and will radiate in some form into every region of Eric and will eventually come to evolve to sizes that would challenge that of the massive Panoplia species at the end of the Anastasi. Next time, we will venture further into the Age of Anastasi. We will see how the other children of Eric adapt and evolve to reclaim their lost planet. We will witness as the Asprodrakos continue to dominate the Anastasi and into the age known as the Exoplosi. Until then, never stop exploring, and never cease to wonder what this beautiful universe may hold. Thank you for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe to check out future entries for Project Metis.